Here is the passage with punctuation added. Have we gotten them? On the off chance that there truly is a profoundly developed alien civilization out there, it probably left a technical fingerprint and a modern-day miracle. We're currently being confronted with thrilling titles claiming that NASA has recently identified a brilliant carpet of city lights on an alien planet. But what is the reality behind these exciting claims? Has humankind's oldest question, whether we are truly alone in the universe, finally been answered with outright certainty? Or would we be well advised to treat such reports with a healthy portion of wariness? Not too far in the past, two scientists from the University of Nottingham hit the headlines with some startling news. There could be as many as 36 advanced alien civilizations, and that's just in our nearby Milky Way. Mind you, this conclusion was reached by Tom Westby and Christopher Caniel as part of an astronomy study. Assuming that the development of intelligent life on other planets takes as long as it did on Earth, there should be at least a couple dozen advanced extraterrestrial societies sleeping in our galaxy. But should we expect that these hypothetical ideas truly correspond to reality? Where in the universe are our extraterrestrial counterparts? This is a mystery that specialists have been wrestling with for many years. But leaning further into that idea, Westby and Caniel explained the secretive absence of aliens with the vast distances that separate the various human civilizations from one another. After all, they are on average around 17,000 light-years apart. To put this into perspective, the unit of length of a light-year shows the distance that light can travel in a vacuum within a year. This is about 9.46 trillion kilometers. But there seems to be a celestial body out there that could tell us something about our secret neighbors. Despite the vast distances in galactic circles, this mysterious object is known as KIC 8462852. However, aside from that, it's better known as Tabby's star, located in the constellation Swan, around 1,470 light-years from our home. Tabby's star has 1.4 times the mass of the Sun and shines 1,000 times more brightly. Anyway, the shining star is attracting the attention of scientists mainly because of one unusual feature. It is repeatedly subjected to extreme fluctuations in brightness that turn every known pattern on its head, and we simply can't make sense of it. The home system of an alien civilization? The search method has proven to be a true breakthrough in the hunt for new planets in the depths of space. As part of this indirect discovery method, scientists focus on the repeating dips in brightness that a planet causes as it passes in front of its parent star. In this way, scientists can not only uncover the mere presence of a planetary companion but also determine some of its basic characteristics, such as the planetary radius, orbital period, and orbital inclination. From 2009 to 2013, the Kepler Space Telescope took a close look at around 150,000 stars to examine them for obvious changes in brightness. With progress, Kepler was eventually able to add over 2,300 new exoplanets to the star charts. But we now know of a total of 5,580 planetary worlds that orbit a host star other than the Sun. However, the planet trackers were able to make another, far more unusual discovery back then, and as you can likely guess, it involved Tabby's star, which consequently earned the title of the weirdest star known to mankind. Furthermore, for good reason, Tabby's star repeatedly experiences brief dips in brightness, which at first seem indicative of planetary transits. But in stark contrast, these dips happen completely erratically. In the most extreme cases, the star loses nearly a quarter of its brightness, and we know of no planet, no matter how large, that could cause this elsewhere in the universe. Just as strange as the frequency is the duration of these events. On one occasion, the star's brightness dropped by 16% in a single day, only to return to its original value the following day. In other cases, however, Tabby's star took much longer to shine back to its original glory. So, how can these mysterious anomalies be explained? Well, the most intriguing and controversial theory revolves around the idea that we are dealing with the work of an extraterrestrial civilization with gigantic artificial structures that harness as much stellar energy as possible. One such megastructure is known in detail as the Dyson sphere, but that concept currently only exists in science fiction. In fact, this wild idea has not been around since recently, It was first described back in 1960 by the physicist Freeman Dyson in the journal Science. The hypothesis was that, eventually, a highly advanced alien civilization would require all the energy of its host star, and what could be more obvious than wrapping the brilliant star with oversized solar panels and turning it into a massive solar power plant. So, are the aliens currently building a Dyson sphere around Tabby's star? It is undisputed that this explanation sounds very dramatic, but it is also indisputable that it has a major flaw. According to our current understanding, the covering of such a structure would also be accompanied by an additional infrared component, which has not yet been detected in the case of Tabby's star. Thus, many specialists prefer to turn to other, more conventional explanations. Among other things, comet fragments or dust rings are thought to be behind the unusual dips in brightness. On the other hand, Tabby's star might also be much younger than previously thought, and could have a gradual accretion disk of dust and gas. Another theory is that the star might have swallowed a planet, and the debris left over from the crash could make the star appear dimmer from our perspective than it actually is. As the James Webb Telescope identified artificial city lights, however, it should be noted that even explanations far removed from Dyson spheres and alien civilizations can't currently be proven. Things look a little clearer in the case of the city lights that the James Webb Telescope recently detected on the surface of Proxima Centauri b. This is hardly surprising. After all, the celestial body is the closest exoplanet to Earth, at a distance of just 4.2 light-years. It also scores 87 on the Earth Similarity Index, and can therefore be confidently described as Earth's vast twin. Considering this information, it appeared just a short time before Webb uncovered the obvious marks of our extraterrestrial neighbors, finishing all banters about the presence of outsiders. Unequivocally, to tell the truth, anyway, the progressive disclosure of the century additionally has one minuscule proviso: it never occurred. In spite of all the lurid titles, we are just managing the outrageous mutilation of another revelation, which is entirely energizing in itself, essentially. Anyway, we don't even know at present whether Proxima Centauri b is tenable at all. The planet is isolated into a searing hot day side and a freezing cold night side. If by any stretch of the imagination, life could have developed there in the calm, strange place, anyway, this would require a steady climate, about whose presence and conceivable composition we still have no data. It is true that the James Webb Telescope has identified a secretive light peculiarity on the outsider divine body, yet it is neither a falsely enlightened outsider city nor a planet. As a general rule, W1935 is an earthy brown dwarf and, in this way, an object that stargazers also refer to as a failed star. Earthy brown dwarfs don't have enough mass to melt hydrogen in their cores. Simultaneously, although they are bigger than planets, they are still too small and too old to be in any way considered stars. Excitingly, Webb has now found an infrared discharge of methane in the regions of W1935, and thus given researchers a significant puzzle. This is because the earthy brown dwarf is cold and has no host star, and therefore no energy source that could heat up its upper climate and cause the methane to sparkle. The earthly auroras are brought about by the interchange between the electrically charged particles of the solar wind and the oxygen and nitrogen particles in the upper layers of the nuclear circle. Anyway, as there is no nearby star near W1935 that could set off the skipping light show, the NASA specialists accept that the aurora is formed by an internal cycle. Exhaustively, the scientists have noticed a purported temperature reversal in the air of the heavenly body. Normally, the temperature decreases consistently with increasing altitude, yet in the air of the earthy brown dwarf, the specific inverse is the case. What is behind this temperature reversal, anyway, remains to be found. W1935 is the first object without an external heat source on which this peculiarity has been seen. To the outsiders, where are you stowing away? Assuming that you are an outsider yourself, please let us know in the comments. In any case, we must come to a sobering acknowledgement. Notwithstanding all the unusual UFO clips and assumed insider data, we have not yet prevailed in proving the presence of extraterrestrial life. But why would that be? The times when life on Earth was considered unique seem to be a distant memory. Notwithstanding the researchers mentioning, Toward the beginning, numerous other specialists are now persuaded that we are not alone in the universe. In spite of the fact that we've gotten the scandalous wow signal and sent a few messages into space on board space tests, we have not yet officially found anything. This is an extremely confusing situation, which the Italian physicist Enrico Fermi summarized as soon as 1950 with the following question: where is everybody? Assuming there truly were exceptionally developed outsider human advancements in the Milky Way, they would have had more than sufficient opportunity to colonize a portion of the universe, or if nothing else, leave obvious indicators of their presence. As referenced, anyway, reality lays out a totally different picture, and specialists have been trying to break the Fermi paradox for nearly 75 years now. The first attempt at a clarification seems practically impossible in the perspective of the overflowing variety of the universe. Earth is really the only planet on which life has thrived. Then, there are the distances mentioned toward the start, which make contact impossible in practice. In principle, that each progression is, all things considered, prepared to colonize its immediate adjoining systems within a restricted sweep. Moreover, a few specialists are of the opinion that technological progression is consistently a ride on the racer's edge and sometimes finishes in the self-destruction of a civilization. Potential reasons for annihilation include wild greenhouse effects, genetically controlled microorganisms, and wrecking battles of destruction. Anyway, it is also possible that our secret neighbors are not all that keen on making themselves known, essentially because they are aware of the risks sneaking in the immensity of space. Exhaustively, threatening species could effectively attempt to wipe out other civilizations to dispose of potential adversaries or contenders for resources. To try not to be trapped in the line of sight of these fierce invaders, most developments would consequently do all they can to remain undetected, to the extent that this would be possible in the instance of humankind. Anyway, this train has sadly already left the station. We've already sent a great deal of essential data about Earth and its occupants into space, and can likely just hope that it doesn't fall into the wrong outsider hands. Simultaneously, we also trust that your hands will now reach the subscribe button. We'd love for you to become part of our community and never miss another thrilling video from us.